Just pick the apples that you like. I'm gonna leave the skin on. That actually has a lot of nutrition in it, but I'm going to core and seed it. My grandmother used to make delicious apple pie, and she told me her trick is to use different apples. So if you want to use 2 different ones, go for it. And just make sure, have a little taste and make sure it tastes really good. Cut off any brown spots if there are any. I'm gonna move any seeds out of the way. Those aren't yummy. Okay, so I'm just gonna cut this as thinly as I possibly can, safely. I put a parchment lined piece of paper to fit on a baking sheet, and then I'm gonna spread these out so it is flat, so these will all cook down evenly, so they'll be nice and soft like an apple pie. Now I'm gonna put these in the oven for about 30 minutes at 350 degrees. So now I'm gonna make the vegan cream sauce, and I'm using tofu. Now I didn't have any silken tofu, but it will still work. It's better if you have the silken. So I'm just gonna crumble this. You can see I already crumbled some of this. And I drained most of the water out. It doesn't have to be bone dry because we're not baking it. And we do want some moisture in here. So I'm just gonna crumble the rest of this in here. And make sure to use certified organic tofu, otherwise you're eating GMO tofu. And soybeans are, if they're not organic, they're genetically modified. The problem with that is GMOs are bred to withstand a lot of pesticides. So when you eat GMO foods, you're eating a lot of pesticides. What are pesticides? They're chemicals. A lot of them are carcinogenic, so definitely don't want that. We have enough harmful things in our environment. Want to limit them as much as possible. So I've got 2 ripe bananas. I'm going to use 1.5. And so instead of sugar, which is processed, or agave, again, processed and highly glycemic, I like to use whole foods. So I'm using a ripe banana. So these are medium. I'm gonna use 1.5. All right, so I've got my 1.5 bananas, and I'm gonna smash this in here. And then I'm gonna add my cinnamon. The cinnamon also adds some sweetness. Now I love cinnamon. I'm a big cinnamon fan. So I'm gonna use a lot. I'm gonna use 2 teaspoons. So I'm gonna start with 1 and add more. You can always add more as you go if you like. All right, so I'm going to blend this until it's nice and creamy. And if it's not creamy enough, you can always add a little bit of almond milk to make it creamier if you are using the firm tofu and you want it a little creamier. And if you want less banana flavor, just use 1 banana instead of 1.5. So you can just try a little bit and add more. I already tried it and I like it. I think it's pretty yummy. I could totally just eat this right now. A lot of people are concerned about tofu because they think, oh, it might have estrogenic effects. It actually doesn't. That information is because the people who read the study misunderstood it. It does not. It actually is very protective against cancer. And the people who eat the more soy have lowered risk of cancer. So you can enjoy it. Don't recommend eating more than a block a day. You can eat it every day as long as you're not allergic to it. Yeah, it's such a great substitute for so many things. All right, so I'm gonna load this up, and this will be my topping. And of course, presentation is everything when it comes to making something look appetizing. So just make it look as pretty as you can. And then people could put a dollop of this on top of their baked apples. Little apple bits are done. Might want to let them cool a little bit. I'm just gonna put them on a plate and just arrange them. I think it's best to let it cool down a little bit because you don't want to cook the tofu. Now, if you're thinking, oh, well, I'll just bake this together, you know, I tried it and the tofu just kind of tasted grainy and it just didn't set up right. So I found it really tastes so much better without cooking the tofu. Just leave it as is, it's good as is. And then you can make this as big or as small as you want. So, you know, there's only 2 apples in this whole batch. Obviously you don't want to cook the whole yum. This is where the calories are. So you just want a dollop of that. All right, so then you just get a spoon and just spoon however much you want on there. Tofu is moderately high in fat. It's not high in fat, just it's not low in fat, but it is moderate. So you're thinking, oh my gosh, that's a lot. But remember, this had the banana in it. So the banana adds the heft. It makes it look bigger than it is. All right, just make that look really pretty. Now you're welcome to add some walnuts or some chopped pecans on top. And so now I'm just gonna add some balsamic vinegar. I like this brand, it's inexpensive, it's delicious. So let's just drizzle that on top. It's a little sweet, a little bit of tart. This balsamic is just wonderful on apples and strawberries. So we'll taste this first. It's good, creamy, but really you want to have it all together. Try to get it all in one bite. Yeah, you definitely want the apples to be cool so that it matches the temperature of your, we'll call it pudding. Yeah, this is high protein. You got your good carbs from your fruit, guilt-free, healthy snack. And actually, let me grab some nuts. Let's try it with some nuts. I've got some pecan pieces. I mean, yum. And let's try it with some walnuts. I'm guessing it's going to be a toss-up. Let's try it. Gotta get that apple on there. Did I get it? I could hardly taste it. Maybe I didn't put enough on. Let's try the walnut. Yep. Add the walnuts on top. You can also add granola on top. Yeah, I do like the addition of the walnuts. So give it a try. Let me know if you have any questions. Check out some of my other videos. I make a lot of dessert recipes and entrees, all healthy, all vegan, and I try to make most of them fairly low fat.